that scary music? We wanted to have scary music for you guys. Let's see. It's Dead Man's Party. It's not doing too much. Okay. Okay, Alexa, off. Alexa, turn it off. If only we could, have some kind of control over that. Hey, everybody. Hi. We are live, and I'm going to put my mic back. Hi, Janine.
Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. I'm glad. We're excited to be here for a little bit of ghost talk. And I have a little bit different setting. It's not ready yet, but anyway, I've got my skulls and I got my, let's see, I can get him, my skull in the glass. I like him. Isn't he kind of cool? Whoops, going the wrong way. Yeah. And I have my ghost hunting equipment here on shelves so that we have like a scanner going and a K2 meter and all of that. So I'm ready for all that. I have my black mirror in case we need to look into it for some spirits. And my trusty skull is here also. So candles and everything. I've got the mood going. So over time, I will get it the way I want. But that's kind of fun. Janine, did you know that Kevin redid his background too?
Did he?
Yeah, but you know what he did? Because everybody knows that Kevin is a nurse, anesthetist. And so you know how he's showing me when we were talking video one day, and he shows me, look at my background. It's so cool. And I looked at him and I said, is that on hospital track? And he says, it's just like that. So you grab it and go around, And so behind him is this half circle of this really neat material behind him. So I go, gee, I'd like to do that, but I'm not putting anything up. I just like painting shelves and making it spooky for when we have our ghost talk, because I think that makes it a lot of fun. Hi, I see Griselle there. Hi, Griselle. And she likes it. Hi, Carlos. Hi, Julie. Oh my goodness! We have our wonderful viewers there. Wow, what a week! What have you been up to, Janine?
Well, I've been doing a lot of hours at work, dealing with my middle child and the grieving process of losing his friend on Friday.
That's so hard. Especially, I'm assuming he was a teen. You want to know the weird thing is my son lost his best friend when they were, teenagers, and it was so hard and so tragic, and trying to meet, to support them in every way you can and get them through the process, and we still have a close connection to him. I have his name on my refrigerator along with my boys and his picture. So we keep him with us at all times. We're always talking to him and stuff. But I'm so sorry for your loss and for your son. I know it's going to be really hard, but time helps. That's for sure.
And luckily for Corey, he's definitely a sensitive. So he's been able to sense him and know that he is at peace. So,
oh gosh, isn't that great? That's so wonderful. They need to know that everything's okay. You know what? That takes me to, I got real excited the other day, didn't I? And I interrupted whatever we were talking about, Janine. And I said, you have got to go watch this channeler, trance medium, Elaine Thorpe. And I went ahead, you guys, and she has posted a video. I posted her video on the fan page. And she blew me away. Oh, my goodness. She just blew me away. And I told everybody around 8 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes, she's going to change, and her spirit guide comes through because her spirit guide's name is Jonathan. Now, I was just telling, I was writing to Janine, go look at this, go look at this. And you did. And wasn't it freaky when the guy came in?
Oh yeah, no, like it was so cool to hear the voice change over to the male voice.
Oh God. It was so freaky. And a whole this personality came out in this man. And I just was like, this is freaking amazing. And he was going to or she wanted only to do this for channel for 20 minutes. And they went, I think the whole show's like over an hour and 20 minutes because he goes, I gave her energy. I'm going to keep doing this. I gave her energy. We can keep going. And, but I listened, Janine, to everything that the spirit guide, Jonathan, said. And it all made sense. Did you get a chance to watch it at all, or just kind of the voice change?
I watched probably like 20 minutes of it, like when he started answering questions for the viewers.
It was amazing. I was like, talking about what happens when he died. His body, his soul rose up out of his body. And then he just felt this wonderful peace. And he said it's all love. It's like stepping into love. And it's a little bit different, depending on how you die. And you can choose to stay. And it was interesting, Janine, because he said that most people stay for the funeral and then they transition over. Mm-hmm. Would you do that? Do you want to go to your funeral?
I think I probably would, honestly. And in my experience, most spirits that I've spoken to have stayed until the last service was held, and then they cross over.
Hey, to our viewers, would you stay for your funeral? And he says people can choose to stay or not stay. It was kind of interesting with that. For me, I've told everybody there's no service. And so, you know what? I'll probably stay just to make sure who crosses me. I just feel my personal thing is like, save your money. And because I'm not there. And if the funeral's for the people, of course, to grieve or whatever, go have a party or a celebration of life. Have drinks if you want to, eat good food, and remember me. But I just don't want that. I guess growing up, I didn't go to a lot of funerals, and then I don't know about you, but my family, they all hit in 1 year. Do you guys ever experience that? It's like grandma's gone, grandpa's gone, aunt's gone, and they just kept going. And I was like, oh my goodness. And we have to go back. The people that are planning those were older, right? So it's the lilies and the dark music and the dark everything and the traditions, and they're laid out and everything. And I'm like, oh no. I don't, and wearing black and all that. Everybody needs to kind of wear pink and purple and whatever. No black go get a drink when I'm gone. I think so. I think that I would hang around just to kind of see how everybody's doing, because we are fortunate to know that when we transition to the other side, we can come back and we have a more effective presence and power when we do that. How do you feel about that, Janine?
No, I also have the same belief that once we've crossed over, that you're actually able to help more than if you were to stay here. Right.
Julie says that she would stay for the funeral. Hi, Kathy. How are you? And that's so far the comments on that one. So anyway, Jonathan was amazing. You guys I'm following Elaine. And then I'm going to go back. I went back and listened a little bit more of videos. And then I got a surprise because my first exposure, I'm just seeing Jonathan. Then all of a sudden, she's doing a spirit circle. And all of a sudden there's like a little girl child voice that comes out in between Jonathan talking. And I was like, well, I kept thinking what a rude audience member there was. Why are they whistling? And why is somebody talking in a little baby talk? And it was actually another, I guess, a guide or something. So I don't know enough to know who was that coming out. And so I do want to watch more. But there was, you guys, the one that I posted on the fan page, Jonathan tells everything about what happens when you die and answers the questions about like the numbers when you see the numbers all the time. So the first number he talked about was 1111. And 1111, he said, was it's time to leave the things old behind and acceptance of your new changes and embrace them. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to learn all this stuff. And so he went and said that that what it is communication with your spirit guides to you. And they bring these numbers when you need to know a message. So like 555 means change. It's all about the change right now. And that would probably scare me. Not again. And 444 was being in harmony with the universe. And so that would tell you like you're doing the right thing. It was just so incredible that I looked up my number because I had somebody come over and someday he'll be on our show. And he walked into my house and gave me a message right away. I'm supposed to tell you this. And as the day went on, it was just crazy stuff that he knew. And he goes, I snapped a picture a couple of days ago. He said, what's your number? And I said, what do you mean? Like the number that I see all the time? And he goes, yeah. I go, it's 909. And then he got out his phone and showed me the picture he took a couple of days ago was 909. And everything was verified. It was crazy. So I did look up 909 because I go, I want to know what it is. And it was several things about caring for your personal being. And 909 is about beauty, power, life change, happiness, and kindness. So I was like, oh, that's really neat. But I'm sure I'm supposed to, get some kind of other message over that. It says it encourages positive change. And so we shall see what happens with 909 with me. But I have been seeing other numbers. Janine, do you have a favorite number that comes up?
So I see a lot 911, but starting at midnight on my 42nd birthday, from that time on, I started seeing 121, which just happens to be my birthday. And it pops up on, like I'll glance at a microwave as it's going through the time and boom, it's at 121, or it's on the clock, or we were driving through an area that had one of the temperature gauges and it had malfunctioned and said it was 121 degrees out.
Did you ever look this up to find out what that supposed to mean?
So after about 6 months of it, I looked it up. I'm like, this is obviously an angel number. And 121 actually is the sign that you're about to have a change in your romantic love life or career.
Good.
And so
you did.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it progressed and things started changing with my career.
Oh, that's amazing. I just love that. Okay, we have to get more into numbers, you guys. What's your guys' number? I'm looking at everybody smiling. I see Kathy's got an emoji with big smile. Kathy, that looks like an emoji with braces. So, of course, my glasses, my cheaters are up there. So anyway, this trance mediumship, now I really want to do it, Janine. And it's like, but Jonathan said you need to set a foundation and learn how to get into that, and then they will come in. So I go, oh, great, I got to go learn this now. Do you know anything about it? Have you tried it?
You know what? Actually, it kind of scares me. So I have not tried it a little bit, but it's something that I would be open to later, I think, in life. But right now, I'm not there.
Yeah, because I'm a control freak, so to have a spirit come through, so I had a guy come over, and I wasn't really trusting this person, and he goes, "Well, you want to try it?" And I'm like outside, I'm going, "Yeah, yeah," and inside's going, "Don't you even?" And
Yeah.
um, so I did close my eyes, and there was some ambient light. And he says, "Okay, the spirit's coming in." And it wasn't like they were coming from the behind. I had this big black shadow come at me, and I was like, "No, no." I opened my eyes and said, "Oh, no." So I calmed down. He says, "Okay, we're going to try it again." I'm like, yeah, sure. I can't wait. And I closed my eyes, and then this big. I mean, it would be, to the ceiling, and it came at me, and then I just said, "Well, I am," because you're letting something take over you, and I'm just like, "Oh," and if I would have trusted him a little bit more, um, you know, then maybe I would have tried it. But I wasn't. Julie, heck, she's got a number 11, 311, 911, 1111, 211, 411. Okay, that's got to all mean something. Kathy does 616 and 617. Isn't that just amazing? We've got to look at it as signs since we see it all the time. For 909 was our phone number, was 0909 growing up. And then I worked in a jail, and in a jail, you were assigned a body number. My body number was 909. And I see it constantly, just constantly. And so I guess it is, I'm gonna write myself a post-it note to note those things. I'm going to get into it. We need to do that. But transmediumship's really interesting. I'm going to start delving into Elaine Thorpe and kind of seeing a little bit more, because I thought it was so amazing. And Jonathan talked about, working on the other side, visiting on this side, and, all the love that you get over there, the peace and the love and all of that. And it was really amazing. The one thing in the second video I watched that was kind of crazy is the fact that they are having a spirit circle, Janine. And there's a room full of people, and there's a moderator. So the moderator's talking and goes, "Who has a question?" And it's dead silence. And then finally somebody would say something, and then the next time, "Who has a question?" And everybody's not talking. And I'm like, I
I have a
do.
question.
There's a million questions. When you ask a million questions, somebody that says, "I will answer anything you want to know." One of the things finally that came out for Jonathan is that if you say, "My father passed," can you tell me, was there somebody there to greet him, or does he have a message for me? And they will give it. And finally, people figured out, "Oh, I can ask that." But how fun that would be. I'd be going through everything. "How's grandma?"
Yeah.
And what's she up to? Is she here? And all of that. But you guys do check Elaine Thorpe out, because I was just blown away. The biggest thing is, like Janine, right? Her voice is very feminine and higher and everything. And really, out of her mouth comes a man's voice.
And what was completely shocking for me is she has a very strong accent.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jonathan came through, it was not there.
It was so weird. And that's the one thing, the guy that came over that was a trance, he was from, California, and he came out whenever he channels anybody, he was channeling an English accent. And so that kind of made me feel like, is this really real or not? It was really hard to discern the information coming in, was that genuine, and all of that. So but Jonathan, I love all the things that he said about passing over, and all the things he talked about, how to connect with your spirit guides and stuff like that. Make sure that you could use it with the music. You can do it with meditation and things like that, and just invite them in. And very interesting, you guys. You've got to go see it. So anyway, we are ghost talking. and and so I've got like some stuff happening in my house, and I just talked to somebody who's going to be coming over Wednesday that was telling me, like, I'm listening to this woman on the phone tell me things that I have experienced. Same thing happening in my house, the 3 a.m. knocking on the door and all of that. Janine, I know that your house is haunted. The room that you're in is. Have you had anything lately in there? We're connected, so I'm feeling good about that.
You know, I cleared the room a little bit. I had a little chat with my grandfather before we went live, and Grandma, just in case it was her, and we didn't have any problems this go around. But after our last show, after I had asked him to clear the room so that we could get on last week, when the show was over and you and I were talking, I had knocking on the door. Like, is it okay to come in now?
That's cute. That's cute. I know. I'm having single knocks now, where when I was first in the house, there'd be the 3 giant bam, bam, bams on the door at 3 a.m. And I stopped that. You know what, you guys? If you get pissed and you yell at them, they usually cut it out. So, and then I had the experience of them waking me up when they thought I was oversleeping. So that was 4 raps, and they weren't loud. And now I get like a knock under the tables, a knock in the back of me here, because this is my office where I work, and I have a room where I is a work room that's downstairs, but back there somewhere, and they'll just do this little knock underneath the table. And or they'll take paper. It sounds like it. They're not doing it. It was like taking paper and rustling it or pushing something around. And I turn around and I acknowledge it, because, sometimes it can be like, I'm over here, I'm here, or just, they're just kind of messing around. And I don't mind it at all. So to me, it's interesting, but I just acknowledge it. Do you think that we should always acknowledge when we hear things or see things, Janine?
I don't always acknowledge it. It just kind of depends on where I'm at, what I'm doing, if it's an appropriate time for them to be, communicating with me. But I tend to acknowledge quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
My past employer, I was a preschool teacher for 12 years with kindercare. And that location that I last worked at was extremely active with spirits. And so,
was it an old building, or were they around the children, or what?
The building was built in 1976, so the same year that I was born. And it just happened that they kept moving me from classroom to classroom to figure out where the best fit would be, so they could bring new people in. And I landed in room 5 with the 4-year-olds, and that room had the most activity in the entire center.
Oh my goodness.
And they would interact with the children. So we would be doing circle time, and you would hear a voice across behind the toy shelf singing with us. And the kids would call around to see who was over there, and they would be like, Miss Jean, there's nobody over there.
Oh my goodness.
I had paintbrushes. A little boy wanted to paint. I've had paintbrushes jump from the easel out onto the floor.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
We had a spirit when so an animal had died in the wall, and so we had to be out of my room for a couple of months, and I was in the room next door. And the spirit from the room, one of the spirits from the room, actually manipulated the intercom and was calling us from room 5.
Oh, that was so weird.
So they had to send somebody around to find out why is the speaker on? Why are we hearing toys moving? and it was set to stay on in room 5.
I just put a ball out on my dining room table because I want to sit down and play with it and see if they'll move it and stuff. But it's ceramic. And I said, gee, I don't want that to get thrown because I've had that. Have we experienced flying? Yes. And so I do need to get a little toy ball to practice with having them move that. And we've done that. I think that, have you guys brought a ball to any of the investigations?
I'm trying to remember. I know Chris and I, when we go out to Pioneer Park, there's a section where the children were buried that we always bring like a truck, a ball, and then we have a Boo Bear, which is set up to light up if it's touched. Mm-hmm. It helps you with EVP sessions by, asking questions every 45 seconds or something like that. And we do set up those trigger objects when we're in those areas. We've had balls fly across the grass like someone's kicked them. We've had the truck roll on its own.
Well, I just wrote a note to get like a little bouncy ball or something really smooth and round that we can put out and put a camera on one night and check that. So, and I told you my Periscope, I got a hold of the person looking for the tracking because I want to have that on a shelf right here, like right there for you guys to see in a light up, and we can communicate on a show. But the guy goes, I'll message the guy who's going to build it. And I'm like, oh, build it? That sounds like, how long is this going to take to get this equipment? Because I'm so excited to get it. So we will have that eventually. But yeah, I want to interact right here. Maybe we'll do even a live candle one night and see if we can, get it to flame up and stuff like that. And I have water right here, so we won't
just
burn the house down. Anything like that. Yeah. And I do have my black mirror that I can set up. And also I can bring up one of the crystal balls to use because I feel like bringing a ghost. My thing I really want us to try to do is to actually have some live communication with the spirit on camera here on a show. Either they have them knock or manipulate the light or flame or something like that. I'm really excited about doing that. So I will be talking to you on like, how should we set this up? Because we really want to do that. And that it's always fun, isn't it? Always, I'm always excited when I have something move or I hear a voice or something like that.
And I'll lately do some live locations with you as well. Like I'll go out on an investigation while we talk ghosts.
Hey, if you can come up one night, I'll get Sean and we'll be downstairs with the antiques and the antique table. And we will go ahead and do a live show seance there. Okay. And absolutely. We'll do that a few times. And that will be a lot of fun. I love that. We love our spirit circles. And the seances are so fun. I know. Yeah, but I've been having go ahead.
To be able to show, them the evidence that like, oh wow, we asked this question and we're getting a clear response, or to have another person say, wow, how, that's exactly what she would say, or that's exactly what she would do. It's amazing.
I know that, the communication, especially we'll do it with the Periscope. But what I said it on the other show is when I was with Lena I went by the memorial, the Kara Knott Memorial today. It always creeps me out, but it does. But having Lena have the spirit stop the frogs from making noise and then start the noise just on cue each time was an eye-opener for me. I was like, oh my goodness, because the spirit is manipulating an organic biological creature, right? It's not like it's rolling a ball. And that was amazing. Oh, Jonathan, the spirit guide, said that when the spirit guides or the spirits make something happen, most times it takes two spirits because it takes a lot of energy to move things or to turn things on and off. And I thought that was interesting because I always thought it would just, be one powerful spirit. What do you think, Janine?
That's kind of what I thought too, but that is interesting that he would say that, and it makes sense because it does take them a lot of energy to manifest where we can actually see them. It does take a lot of energy for them to physically manipulate things. It makes sense.
Oh, Kevin did say on a show that when they're manifesting things in the cabinet and stuff, I mean, it takes a lot of energy from the people that are there and the spirits to make some of these things happen, to materialize the spirit in a physical form and stuff. Takes many people to do that, and
And on
but
the other show, we saw that with the devices that kept, like when we did the last show, and I was doing the obvious communication, and it drained a full battery, and we were only on for a short period of time.
Oh, we got to recap that. So the last show we had Chris Oliver and Janine they were at Alpine Cemetery. So they got a warning. So tell everybody what the warning was.
So our warning is Saturn. The word comes to the obvious thing, Saturn. That just happens to be the type of car that Chris, my co-founder, drives. And every time that we've been told to go to the Saturn, something has happened in the area that we were that is negative or not good. So we learned real quickly, if it says go to Saturn, run to Saturn, that we leave. While we were on this investigation, we could feel something moving around us quickly. Something was running at me when I would turn my back. And the device, the Ovilus, said, go to Saturn. And I had mentioned that it had to go to Saturn, and then we kept pursuing forward, and it said Saturn a second time. And as I was letting Debbie know that we definitely were headed back to the car, my phone shut off. It was just completely dead. So I had to make sure that I messaged you to let you know we did make it to the car and we were okay.
Yeah, but it just drained the battery.
Something did not want us there.
Too, whenever I go out in an investigation, I feel so bad for Chris because Chris buys good batteries and she brings new batteries. Mm-hmm. And they get drained. I mean, all of them, the devices, and that's got to be frustrating as anything to have to be reloaded. I just bought us a set
of the rechargeable ones, so hopefully we can save a little, on the batteries, because they're a little bit more pricey, but if you can keep recharging them, it is a little bit better, I think.
Well, I got us a set for the next investigation because we do events in like 4-story buildings and stuff. And I got us a set of the walkie-talkies, and they came with rechargeable batteries. And so we'll get more, but we have this thing where the people, we have to have designated people to take our guests out of the area if they get sick. A lot of them get sick. That happens a lot in that one building. They'll get weak-kneed, or they'll get wanting to faint, or throw up is a big one. Mm-hmm. And especially in this one room, the small theater at the 10th Avenue Art Center in San Diego, and they all get nauseous, and there's a bathroom really right down the... Is that bathroom haunted? The one outside the small theater?
No, I think it's the floor below.
Okay. Okay. We've got a haunting there. So they go in and puke.
that theater is so extreme energy wise that even putting my hand through the doorway makes me feel the nauseous and lightheaded feeling. Well, and it's rare that happens for me.
Oh, I know it. this last time I was there, it never bothers me. I like that theater, and most people are creeped out by it, but I like that theater. And I walked in and I had to walk out and my knees were buckling. And it just makes me pissed off. Because I'm not whatever. I'm like, "Oh my God, how could you get to me like that?" But
Right.
I was frozen by the hag once. The hag before I ordered my house at what we call the hag, the old lady bad thing, came into the master suite, and she appeared. She formed, like ectoplasm, and she formed. And I go, "Ew, I really want this to be friendly," but I didn't have that vibe. And the face came, and then like a little soft smile, and then the real her. And so I was going to, go down and put my arm right through her because that's me. I'm gonna,
Right.
hey, if I see a ghost, Janine and I are not gonna run, you guys. Do you guys ever watch these shows on? I almost said stupid shows. I don't want to call them stupid, but the paranormal investigation shows where the guys scream or the guys run or whatever, and I go, "You run towards it." I'm always watching, screaming, "Run towards it." That's why you're there. Don't go back, and they all take off. And so, but for her, I was going to, climb down and put my hand through her, and I couldn't move. I was frozen, and I was mad then. I couldn't understand that anything would affect me like that. And the only other time was the 10th Avenue Theater. This is the last time I go, "Oh my goodness." You kind of get warm and you're going, "Whoa." And I walked out, and I had people that were like almost fainting out there anyway. That's why we have the walkie talkies. We've got to know to move the people out and move them down. A lot of them want to go home. We have to go check them out of the building. And I walked out there with everybody else, and I was like, "I am so mad that I'm here, but I didn't want to fall to the ground." My knees were going, and I was like, "Holy cow, I don't know what was in there." And, energy moves about. I think that the spirits in that theater tend to stay in the areas that they like, that they feel home in. But there's this one spirit, David, and he comes up on the Avalos all the time, and he totally will move around. And I think he goes from the kitchen to that theater.
Oh,
I do.
I'm pretty positive he does. Yeah. And the little girl that's there, she travels through the whole area, up and down
Yeah.
the stairs, and you know, um,
I do feel like
playful.
when Chris got pushed, when I was putting the protections in the the minister's office, I'm wondering who did that. And I was talking about Hatman, but I had been chasing a woman energy around the room because I could take my hands, and you guys need to practice this. And I take it, and then it's like getting hit by uh, particles. And so you can go. It's like and you can feel them and chase them around and through the doors and stuff. But something got in there, and when I went to put a protection, energy and stuff, with the tuning fork around Chris, something pushed her. And so I was wondering if Hatman had come up and did that, but I think he was pretty much down in the basement.
Right. And that evening, there was a weird feel in the pastor's office. It was a different spirit than normally would be in that office because remember,
Okay.
I put my stuff up there and it locked the door. And
Oh,
it
I don't
took
remember
three of us.
that.
Yeah, it locked
Oh.
all my stuff inside. And I came down. I said, "Oh my gosh, the door is locked up there, and the owner has left for the evening, so we don't have keys to get back in. My car keys are in there." So
Right.
it took me, Chris, and Sean going upstairs. I tried to get the door open multiple times, and finally, Sean and I both said at the same time, "Can you just open the door?" And then the next time I opened it, or let us open the door. And the next time I opened it, it opened right up.
Oh my goodness. Oh, these spirits are sometimes mischievous.
Yes.
Sometimes they have good sense of humors. The Englishman down in when I first went in and I saw him, he had a good sense of humor. And Then in the pastor's office, I encountered a spirit called Vivian. She called Vivian with a V. And she was very like a fashion person or something. I think she came in probably in the early 1960s, and she just likes the theater thing. And I think that the British soldier likes the theater vibe there too. But what you guys might be missing if you haven't heard before in our stories is that main church, a part of the building, the building was a church, okay? And what was the date? Was it the 1910 or
I think it was
1905?
I think it was 1903, and then the finished product was like 1910 when it was completely finished.
Okay. But we had the minister, I guess, hung himself in it and killed himself in that big area. So and I know that when they're performing there, that they sometimes see people in the audience and all of that. And
That night on
it.
Halloween, we did see a female in the back of the audience in the back corner, as well as
sitting next to my son.
Yes. And then after when we finished everything up and we were doing the final talk in the main theater, we were talking about how he hung himself right there in the theater. And when Lena spoke of him hanging himself from the rafter, we did catch on video an orb drop really quickly and start swaying back and forth. And it's on video.
Oh my goodness. We did get on video that in the pastor's office, the door shutting and opening, opening 3 times, and Lena shuts it tight, and then it opens up. She's talking. We're doing a video about the show that we were putting on. You guys, we do this event every October on Halloween. We have a paranormal lockdown. Isn't that right, Janine?
Yes, ma'am.
So we lock you up. And what are the hours? It was, let me see. Did they come in like at till 1 o'clock or something in the morning?
Yeah, it was like 8 p.m. until 1 in the morning. And we lock you down and take you on the tour of the theater and share some of our experiences. And a lot of people will bring their equipment, and we have also extra equipment that people use. And it's
oh, wait a minute. Then we have a seance. We split up to where Lena has a group and I have a group. And we do seances like in the murder room, the red room, the shining room. We have to have, oh, that was crazy room. I mean, bloody type of handprints. This is a theater. They really made it look like a murder scene there. Blood dripping from the fireplaces. This neat old Art Deco building has fireplaces everywhere. Especially is there 2 on the roof? 2.
Yes, there's 2 on the roof.
2 on the roof.
One in the small theater that I saw.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if there was another one.
Red room.
The red room. The red room has it. And so we do seances. And we have our ghost equipment while we're doing seances. I'll also do readings for people. It's just, really, really neat. You guys should come. And I can't even remember, what did we charge? What did we charge? I don't remember.
It was $40 a person.
40. And it's such a great opportunity. So you guys should come to San Diego on Halloween and have that great experience downtown. And we have a lot of stuff happen, a lot. And it's just really fun. It's fun for us. It's a lot of work though. Because we're making sure that we have a safe environment and everything. And this building, oh my gosh. So I almost posted the elevator picture that Sean took. So Sean opened up the elevator door. This is an original elevator, you guys. And it's got the really neat, it should be in the Twilight Zone movies or something, the neat buttons and all of that. And he opened up the door and he snapped this picture of all these spirits in there. I'll put it on the Facebook because I
did
happened to
ride
see
in
it.
that elevator. Terrifying.
I wouldn't.
Terrifyingly
I would
old.
not do it. And you can get stuck. So you have to go up the stairs. And they're easy stairs, but it's 4 stories. And so it
There's a lot of
is
walking.
it's a lot of fun, yeah. And we have a good night though. I'm looking to see the comments. Rhonda, hi Rhonda. Rhonda says, I wish they had something like that here in South Carolina. You know what, Rhonda, I really want to go to the East Coast. My nieces live in let's see, where is it? Georgia. And they take these, 2-3 state trips around. Oh, they love to go to Savannah and go there because I always feel like that's where the action is. It's older on the East Coast, and I want to go to Salem. What do you, Janine? Have you ever been to Salem,
It's
Massachusetts?
funny. I have not, but the anniversary of the witch trials was on the 1st, which just passed. And I was just telling my kids that is a trip that I definitely want to be taking soon.
Yeah. And I know if I go to my niece's, I can stay there and then we'll go do the tours. And I had one other niece go on a tour to a plantation, and she had an encounter there where you know how they're walking and they go to a roped off room and stuff. Something grabbed her shoulder and swung her around, and she's like expected to see something, but grabbed her shoulder, spun her around, and nothing was there. But she got, she was like, okay, time to go. I'm done. Type of thing. And she just
Enough,
went to
right?
New Orleans not long ago, last year, and I never really talked to her about how she's also a medium. What she saw there and all that. But that's one place, is to go to New Orleans and see the graves, and
Yes.
then probably I so want to go back east and see all those great places on the East Coast. We're going to be staying with you, Rhonda. You're one of our stops. We'll do readings for you.
Yeah, the cemeteries out there are amazing on the East Coast. They're beautiful.
And they're so old. They're really, really old. And that would be really neat. The battlefields. And we do have one battlefield close to where we're at, and you've been there a few times. And San Pasqual battlefield. But our grave sites and all of that just don't have that, as old as and ornate and cared for and everything that we have in California. We had missions, and a lot of our cemeteries were destroyed. What is the one that I went to where we were actually the playgrounds over the dead people?
Oh, that would be Pioneer Park.
Oh, okay. So Pioneer Park here, Janine and Chris took me there, and we had a meet up there. And it just boggles my mind that they bulldozed the gravestones, the beautiful gravestones, into a ravine. So now we got a bunch of dark stuff down there. And they actually planted grass and put playground equipment and everything right over the people, the dead people. And we're not talking a couple people. How many people are there, Janine?
There's 44,000 people buried.
It's just, when you guys see the park, it's not that big, and they keep going, just like down in Old Town. They're out in the streets buried. California was not nice to their dead.
No, not at all. And, like, even to make it worse, when they removed the headstones out and they were supposed to store them, because a lot of them were historic, like pioneers of San Diego.
Right.
When they moved them to Mount Hope Cemetery, where they were supposed to be stored in a shed, those were also tossed in a ravine and covered with dirt. And they weren't found until, I believe it was like 90, maybe 90, somewhere between 92 and 96 when they put the trolley system through.
Oh, but we have to mention that it wasn't like this was done in 1900. How dare they? When was it that they did this? What year
It
was
was
it?
1960.
It was not, it was when they knew better, you guys. It's when they knew better not to desecrate graves. And yet they did this.
But they do
And
have the law here in California that if a cemetery goes so many years unkept, the city can do whatever they want with the property.
yeah.
So they do. They come in and take the headstones out and use it for whatever they want to use it for if it goes unkept.
It's like, where am I going to be buried? What are they going to be doing with it? You know what? I'm okay with it being a playground, but you know what? There's a lot of ghosts, the ghosts, the people that haven't transitioned that hang out. Or Chris had a real scary thing happen at Pioneer Park with the little girl, or was it with you? There was a guardian.
Yeah, I was going to meet her. It was actually the grandfather of a little girl. Both spirits still hang out in the area, and she was checking out the area before I was supposed to come meet her, and she was with another friend. And they were having some fun with the obelisk because she had just recently gotten it. And, little cute things like her friend said, hey, I'm going to go over here. And then the obelisk said making smoke. And she goes, oh, wow, it just said making smoke. And she turns around, her friend is smoking a cigarette. But what ended up happening was there was this tree and it kind of branches off in I think 3 directions. And there's a center section that's open. And she walked up to it, and around it, there was a dirt ring with some wood chips in it. And as soon as she got really close to the wood chips, the obelisk said the word personal. And it wasn't a normal obelisk robotic sound. She said it sounded angry. It sounded like a male aggressive voice, personal. And so she's a smart aleck, and she says to it, personal what? Personal tree? Personal this? Personal space?
Do not taunt the spirits.
As soon as she took the step into the ring, she got what she said felt like the Heimlich maneuver, and made her very sick. Kind
of like
she had bruises.
Like this. Oh yeah.
When I saw her, she had bruises. It was very forceful. Whatever got a hold of her, she had bruises. So the next day, which was the day that we were actually supposed to meet, because she had called me and said, oh, the meetup is not until Sunday. Sorry, we'll meet up on Sunday. We met up there Sunday, and she did the tour with the Sand Gap was out there. They had psychics with them. She asked, okay, I have a question. What is up with the bench over there and that tree? And a bunch of them just started laughing. And she's like, no, not funny. Look what he did to me, or what it did to me. She showed them the bruises or whatever. She kind of explained what happened. And they're like, you met Grandpa. Grandpa is very protective of his granddaughter. And if he thought that you were, going to cause harm, he would get you. And he did.
Oh my goodness. If you guys watched the last show where they went out to Alpine Cemetery, that was Chris Oliver. And she did tell me that story when we were out there. So I wasn't going to go by that tree. But actually, it was like something got her and went into her stomach, I think. And she was just bruised all over, really bad. So we have to watch out for some of those, those spirits, because they can be aggressive. And this one was protecting the little girl. And it's too bad that there can't be a soul rescue. I don't like when children are stuck, earthbound. We want them to cross over.
Be able to cross over. Yeah. And, we do have a great relationship with the spirit of Grandpa now. We say hi to him every time we come. And he's gotten to know us, and he knows that, we mean no harm to anybody. And so we haven't had any problems since. We can actually ask him if we can approach the tree before we go up to the
Oh,
tree. And yeah.
okay. Because I just say, do you stay out of the personal bubble? Because that ring, I'd be like, no, I'm not going over there.
No,
Yeah,
the
they
first
had some
couple
really.
times I was afraid to step into that ring. I was like, okay, I've asked for permission, but do I really want to take a chance that he doesn't give the
Oh
permission?
my, yeah, Janine, we have like 5 minutes, but hey, there is a wampum tree. Do you guys know the Harry Potter movie where there's a wampum tree, the one that's hitting and hitting? You got to watch it because it's a wampum tree. Well, that's what I call that tree that's at Pioneer Park. Can you give a little story about why it's why I call it the wampum tree?
Oh, my big tree out there.
Yeah, yes, the attack tree.
Yeah, there's a large tree which has like the root system that comes up out of the ground. It's kind of creepy looking, especially at nighttime. But we've had a lot of investigations out there over the years, and for some reason, when I step underneath this tree, it will throw berries. And everybody's like, "Oh, the berries are falling out of the tree," but no, they are coming straight sideways and just nailing me in my back. And I've even had experiences where I've asked it to throw them in certain directions and it's followed through and thrown them exactly where I've asked them to throw them. And if others go without me, nobody gets hit. It just likes to throw berries at me.
I
But
know
I've
it
also
was
seen
free.
light orbs coming from that tree. So there's definitely some spiritual energy with that tree. There's I think a young boy that plays up in there, and he's pretty mischievous, let's say.
I know when I went with you and we were just let's walk on the path, you're going, I'm not going under that tree. I'm like, what? And but we did when we did go under though, we it did come down. And I was like, this is amazing. And but it's like it has something out for you, Jenny.
Yeah, no, it'll peg me right in the back of the head, in the middle of my back, and it's coming sideways. They're not coming down.
And they're not really getting anybody else but you, correct?
Yeah, I'm the only person that's been hit.
You got like a target on you. I'm telling you. Well, we are at the time where we just have a few more minutes to kind of wrap it up and say what's going on. Um, I want to let you guys know that Wednesday with Kevin Lee, Reverend Kevin Lee, and Andy Benson and I, we're going to have Kim Een on, the great medium and psychic and tarot reader from San Diego. She'll be doing readings at the end of the show, and that will be at when do we have it? 6 p.m. Pacific
6 p.m.
time on Wednesday. We'll come out live on that one. And we have a lot of uh, people that are going to be coming on, and we're kind of booked up almost at April now. So we're excited on that one. And then Janine and I will be here on Sundays to talk about ghosts or our experiences, and we have a lot of them. And Janine, so what's with you? What do you want to tell everyone?
We got a few cemetery tours that are going to be coming up in this month. We're going to be going to Alpine Cemetery, and we'll also be doing one at Mount Hope Cemetery. So look for us on Meetup. The admission for those are just $10, so they're really reasonable, and I promise a great time, especially at Mount Hope. It's a field of lots of famous San Diegans that you get to see while you're out there. And I just finished my book cover, and I am literally probably 2 weeks away from publishing.
Oh, wow, that's going to be great.
Look for My Paranormal Life coming soon.
Right. And we'll let you know how to buy a copy, and we'll advertise that. And that's going to be really super neat. And that's such an accomplishment. And we're going to have a party. Maybe we should have a taco party.
Ooh,
Here I was
taco.
like, I did like 5 days on keto, right? Like 5 days, and then fell off the wagon today. I'm so when I get into the zone, I can stay in it, but I let myself go without eating, and with so much going on, and my son is moving out, and so we went furniture shopping. And so finally I just said, there's a KFC, stop. You guys, and it's not the chicken I want, which is keto, right? It is the mashed potatoes.
Yum.
Ah, so anyway, but well, that was off the subject. But thank you guys so much for watching tonight. And we just really we're going to get all set up to where we can, I've been watching my K2. It hasn't been doing too much here. But you know what? I have a well-warded house. And so I don't expect any misbehaving spirits unless I, kind of invite some other people in. So when we do want to have spirits in, I am going to teach you guys how to let them in safely. And Jonathan, Elaine Thorpe's spirit guides, they did or Elaine did a prayer on how to open your circle. So I'm going to go back and rewatch the second video and how she invites the spirits in and stuff. So, and how to do it safely. Because, you can always, learn a little bit more. And so we'll teach you all that kind of stuff. And we have spring is coming pretty soon. And we have a full moon. Let me look. On the 20th is a full moon at 6:42 Pacific time. And I will be teaching how to get all those wonderful moon benefits of the moonlight. So that'll be kind of fun to do that too. All right, so time to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you Wednesday and next Sunday also with Janine, Haynes, and I. We will see you then. Thanks for watching.
Bye.